Hello and welcome to the Ball State Esports Arena. It is I, Rory, aka Artem, and I'm joined here today.
I'm Aiden Inman, aka Inmonic.
And welcome. Ball State has been absolutely dominating the ESC so far in League of Legends. Been doing a very swell job last week. Once again, just a very solid game all around. And I say solid, but
it was a little more than solid.
Yeah, the Cardinals have been taking names, and they've been taking names quickly, efficiently, and I mean, I'm still reeling from the Toledo game that was over in 16 minutes with, 27 kills?
Yeah, I'm not sure how factual this is, but I was told that's the record for most kills on one person in the league.
I was informed of this as well. I'm going to choose to believe it until someone confirms otherwise. But tonight's match is not against Toledo. Ball State will be pitted against EMU, that is Eastern Michigan University, in League of Legends. And already there's a bit of a mix-up here with the Ball State roster. They're getting in 3 new people just for today's game. So we are going to be keeping with our usual Wombat Baby and Quokka. But we have Angry Duck. That's not... it's Yoon and not Shumslog who will be in the bot lane. And then in the top lane is not Silk. Remind me who they swapped Silk out with.
I am struggling to remember the name right now, too.
Uh-oh. Our mystery top laner. I'm so sorry. We literally talked to him right before he got on stage, too. We never got his tag.
We did not.
Alas. Well, he seems like he's going to play pretty similar to Silk. He was talking about the champions he enjoys playing. He's got that Camille. He's got that Aatrox.
I think you said Renekton in there also.
Oh, he's got Renekton. We might be able to see Renekton.
Bunch of carry champions, similar to Silk Flannel.
Yeah, so he will be the honorary Silk Flannel until we receive his tag. That was Boatlick, I'm being told, is our substitute top laner. Okay, so the normal starting jungle for Ball State is going to be our top laner for today.
Yep.
And looking at Eastern Michigan University's roster here, EMU not super favored coming into this, so I'm hoping to see, you were talking about this a bit earlier, kind of hoping to see those more creative picks, right? The silly Rengar Ivern in the bot lane. Maybe you get a bit more creative with your top lane picks. Maybe you just come up with, I don't know, the Pyke mid. Pyke got buffed. We might see Pyke mid.
Oh, yeah. They definitely... I mean, unless they think they're very confident they can beat us, they need to pick something weird. They need to pick something Ball State hasn't played against or isn't expecting and just try to run away with it.
Actually, the new patch did drop.
Oh, yeah.
So we do. I know Aurelion Sol has been causing some stirs among the player base, to put it mildly.
I'm not sure how he is competitively, but yeah, solo queue right now, Aurelion Sol's a problem, and I'd imagine neither team have very much practice against Aurelion Sol.
Yeah, you don't really see that champion much in organized play. He has a very weak early game. He can't get that priority that you need. Once he hits level 9, I think he feels amazing, but level 9 is such a long time to wait in this kind of environment. I don't believe we did manage to get EMU's roster up, so we will be taking a look at that shortly. But again, EMU kind of just on the back foot here for this particular matchup. We are going to be having Astro Smash in the top, the Gecko in the jungle, Leviatha in the mid lane, Kalios in the bot lane, and Maple Tonio in that support role. So again, EMU not super favored in this, and I'm hoping we get to see kind of a spicy draft.
Yeah, I don't want to see the same old. I definitely like to see them taking advantage of maybe some of the new champions that have become strong within this new patch. However, as I said, they don't have much practice on this patch. It came out, 10 hours ago, something like that?
Yeah, I wasn't even playing the game because I was scared I was going to get booted out of a ranked game when the patch dropped.
But yeah, depending on how much they've looked over the patch notes, we may see some interesting picks, some different picks than we've seen in previous matches. And yeah, I'm hoping to see an exciting game coming up.
Yeah, like you said, that Asol is certainly an option on the table. Pyke did get a big buff. And there were a couple nerfs brought out to champions that didn't quite land. We haven't seen Brand much in the ESC, but Brand Jungle was in theory nerfed,
Yeah.
but a lot of people, myself included to be honest, are saying that wasn't enough. Brand can still kind of just walk up and press all his buttons and one-shot you.
And then we have been dealing with Karma being a 3-role flex pick. Can play top, middle, or support. And
Yep.
Karma did get nerfs in this patch. I'm not sure if that's going to affect her ability to be flex picked in any role. I feel like we're still going to see her in probably every single draft.
Yeah, Karma was very contested last patch. This patch, she has, in theory, been nerfed. Her RQ, which did do a lot of damage, does less damage now, but it's only about, I think, 10 less damage or something like that. Certainly, you're losing some of that early game power, but Karma just has so much ability to sort of take over these lanes, especially in matchups where she's favored. And again, it can be flexed anywhere. You can build her top, you can build her mid, you can build her support, you can build her as a tank, you can build her as a mage, you can build her as an enchanter. She can just do so much. It's terrifying when Karma is in a good spot.
Yeah, and she excels at all of those. She can be the tankiest member of your team. She can put the most shields on your team members in the whole game. She can also deal the most damage if she wants to. So we'll see if she is going to continue to be. I imagine she'll be banned out. She's been banned out like pretty much every other game that we've seen.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see it. I don't know if the ESC is allowed to play Smolder this particular patch. I think it's 2 weeks they have to wait.
Has it only been 1 week now?
It's only been 1 week since he's dropped, so Smolder might not be an option. I'm trying to remember the exact rule, but Smolder is the new champion that has been released. Stats-wise in solo queue, he's not been doing great. However, some pro players in Korea have been cooking in the kitchen and have given Smolder a bit of a build that gets some early magic damage in, lets his early game be a bit better than it is right now, and then he still scales into that late game monster that's just one-tapping your team.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd pick him in competitive, but I'd love to see him played in competitive.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Always like to see the new champions. I still haven't seen any Briar. I need someone to pull out some Briar.
Yeah, we were talking about, I know Briar's been played in a few scrims.
I think I saw one team play Briar in one scrim.
Okay, so, when I said a few, maybe it was being generous. Do you know if they won that scrim? I'm curious.
I do not know. I didn't check that.
Okay. Well, Briar's status in scrims is either a 0% win rate champion or 100% win rate champion.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, again, and we are talking about these sort of fun picks, but let's get serious for a moment. In going into draft, right, some of these fun picks, they just have intrinsic problems that good teams can exploit, and Ball State and a lot of the teams in the ESC, to be fair, are very good at exploiting those weaknesses. You even have just a slightly weak early game, and somebody who knows that champion inside and out can exploit that weak early game, and before you know it, everything's spiraling out of control. We've seen Ball State do that already. I'm going to reference the U-Toledo game again, because all of a sudden Shumslog had 3 kills, and it was over.
It was just over. Yeah, games can. There's many instances where games can be over within the first 3-4 minutes, depending on how it goes, and that's why your picks just matter so much.
Drafting is maybe not necessarily the end-all, be-all, but certainly very key, especially when you are in an organized environment such as this. So you talked about picks we'd like to see and that we might see, but who do you think we'll see coming out from Ball State? We got a bit of a roster switch up here. We have Angry Duck, who played as Remy last season in the ESC for Ball State. He had a really strong Maokai, had a really strong Sejuani, and we've seen Wombat Baby, who's been oh my goodness, I tried to say his champion's name and Wombat Baby's name at the same time, and it kind of crossed wires in my brain. But he's played a lot of Ahri. He's got the ADTF. I've seen him pick Ziggs before. Who are we expecting to see out of Ball State, not just draft-wise, but maybe from the comfort of Ball State's champ pool?
Well, first, I'll say in the mid lane, I don't think we're going to see ADTF anymore. They went in and they nerfed all of the on-hit proc items, and that's what ADTF like to build.
Yeah.
And TF means Twisted Fate, by the way, for anyone that doesn't know. It's the character. So I don't think... maybe it's still strong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think we're going to see it anymore. I feel like we're probably just going to see Ahri. And if they ban Ahri, I don't know. Does he have a deep pool? I'm not sure what else he plays.
I've seen him pull out the Ziggs mid before. He does have a fairly sizable champion pool from what I remember. I actually got to play a short little 1v1 against him. I lost, incidentally, in case that wasn't obvious. But he did pull out Cassiopeia. I know he's talked about playing Echo mid before. Cassiopeia and Echo mid kind of strike me as more counter-pick champions and maybe not necessarily something you want to lead with, but you get a good matchup as Cassiopeia especially, and it feels really nice.
And then we've also been talking about Karma. He has played Karma once, I think. He would probably be the one playing Karma on the team, I think, if they do play that.
I would assume so.
And then you mentioned we have a Maokai player. Maokai's insane right now.
Yeah, especially in support, it is important to keep in mind. So Maokai jungle, I still think is pretty good, but support is definitely where the spotlight for Maokai has been for the past few patches and continues to be. So we might see Maokai support. I know Quokka kind of favors some of these more engagey types from what we've seen from his champion pool. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Speaking of Quokka, I know he likes playing Pyke. And Pyke did just get tremendously buffed.
Yes.
Pyke's early game, already pretty strong, is now downright scary. So I would not be surprised if we see Pyke being drafted very, very early from Ball State.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. Yeah, Pyke would not be surprised because his Pyke is kind of nasty, and especially with those updates, it'll be scary.
Yeah, I think Pyke actually has the highest base armor in the game right now, or something close to it.
That's surprising. He's supposed to be an assassin.
I mean, he scales terribly, right? You don't build any HP, you don't build any armor, so you do have those high base stats because Pyke's early game is kind of all he's got. After 15 minutes, that champion's stats are going to fall off a cliff, so you really need to make that impact happen early. That being said, this patch has made it quite easy for Pyke to make that impact happen early, so I would not be surprised to see Quokka drafting it. I kind of hope Quokka gets to play Pyke because his Pyke is just kind of a joy to watch, honestly.
Now, we've been talking about champions, but for those that don't know, we haven't told them what they do with those champions.
Yeah, so for those who might not be aware, for those who are tuning in for the first time, League of Legends is very complex, but what happens is you have 2 teams of 5, and those teams of 5 are going to draft champions into a top lane role, a mid lane role, a bot lane role, or the bottom lane, and a support role with a jungler that doesn't go in any of these lanes and walks in between. And all of these roles are going to be farming either monsters or minions, and they get golden experience from these. They get golden experience from killing enemy champions as well. And they go back to base, they use that golden experience to buy some items, and they use those items to take objectives, destroy towers, and eventually get to the enemy base to destroy it. So whenever you see something happening, just keep this one goal in mind. So there's this one mantra in mind. Everything is being done to get stronger and destroy the enemy base.
Yeah, there's towers protecting their base, and they're really just the summarized short goal. They have to destroy those towers and get into the base and destroy the base. That's the goal.
Yep. It's quite a complex game. There's what, close to 200 something characters now?
I think there's like 166 with the new one.
Oh,
something like that.
I think it's in the 70s now.
70s? I might be off, but yeah, nearly 200 characters.
Yeah, it's not always super newcomer friendly, but the depth and strategic application of this game is truly fun to behold, and it's especially fun watching people who have put in a lot of time and effort to execute these characters, these strategies to their fullest potential, and you'll be seeing a lot of that with Ball State today, and EMU as well. They've been putting in the work on those champions. So I expect some sparks to fly, expect some fun plays, expect maybe even head-scratching plays. I know when Ball State gets a lead, they sometimes tend to get a little cocky and overconfident, and all of a sudden you see them try something that looks like it'd be insane if it worked, except it doesn't work.
They might almost throw some games here and there.
The keyword being almost. Ball State still remaining undefeated in the ESC, and last time I interviewed Wombat Baby, he said Ball State is in it to win it. They almost won the ESC last season, and they are hungry for that second chance to prove themselves here. The roster has changed very little from last season. A lot of these same guys are really looking for the redemption arc this particular ESC.
Yeah, and Ball State's not the only match playing tonight in the ESC. There are also other matches going on. We'll give you a little graphic of those here. We've got Western Michigan versus Northeastern, Akron versus Toledo, Northern Illinois versus Ohio, Northern Kentucky versus Miami, Kent State versus Central Michigan, University of Buffalo versus Bowling Green State. And so all of those are going on tonight. I don't know if they all have streams going on, but if you want to tune in and see some other games going on, make sure you keep ours open in the second tab.
Yeah, Northeastern, especially as a Ball State as a Ball State Cardinal, Ball Stater, as a Cardinal is sort of the team that I'm keeping my eyes on. That's the team that managed to beat Ball State in the ESC, and they, to my knowledge, have been doing fairly well in the ESC overall.
Yeah, I'm very excited I'm hoping tonight's a competitive match. I don't want to downplay any teams, but I'm very much looking forward to that. I think that's going to be probably one of the most competitive matches of the season.
Yeah, if last season is anything to go by, it should be a nail-biter, especially as the ESC tends to get later on in the season. You start seeing these much closer games as teams start really trying to hit those playoff spots and come to the ESC final to win it all.
Yeah, so, I mean, we've talked about different teams and stuff. What do we think our predictions are tonight versus Eastern Michigan?
Ball State has been on a roll. They are tearing through the ESC. I've said it once. I've said it 1,000 times. I'm going to say it again. I really think it is just going to be a 2-0 here for Ball State. They're looking really, really good. And even with some roster switch-ups for tonight's game, I don't see any universe in which they don't come in with this style that we're so used to, this crazy aggressive, ending games around the 20-minute mark, 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, I mean, I fully agree with you. I think this is going to be a 2-0. I'm not quite sure we're going to see a 27-kill Tristana, but I do. Yeah. I have confidence in our boys here. I think we're going to win this one.
Yep, I see. Again, zero reason why Ball State should lose this. Stranger things have happened, of course, and like we mentioned earlier, we were actually talking about this before the broadcast came on. If you are a team that isn't necessarily favored going into any given matchup, sometimes just picking something weird, or not even super weird, but just different, can make all the difference in catching Ball State off guard. We've seen it happen before, not just in League of Legends, but in other games that are played throughout the ESC. Sometimes you just gotta fight a little dirty, you know, kick some sand in your opponent's eyes, or maybe draft the Rengar Ivern bot. I really want to see a Rengar Ivern bot lane. I don't know if anybody has picked this up, but I think it's such a silly thing to watch, and I really want to see someone play it.
So just for those that don't know, Rengar and Ivern Rengar's a jungler, and so is Ivern. They're both junglers, but Rengar's passive, or his special ability, is he can jump out of bushes onto people. And Ivern has an ability where he puts bushes down. So Ivern can just put a bush down, and Rengar can jump out of that on top of somebody. And it's a very weird pick, but it can catch people off guard. It'd be interesting to see if anyone plays it here in a competitive setting.
I think it's worth noting too is that Rengar, he can jump out of the bush, walk back into it, and then jump back out of it again. So you can just get a little carousel of a Rengar leaping on people. It's very funny to watch, and I'm really hoping somebody does it, if only just to try and catch the Cardinals off guard. I've had to face against those two characters in the bot lane before, and I was not expecting it, and that was not a fun game for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. We need to see some weird picks. We can go over it. So a weird pick for us. So in mid lane, you typically have a mage or an assassin, something that deals a lot of damage. But a weird pick could be, you might put a support in your mid lane. Someone they're not really trying to win mid lane. They're not trying to kill their opponent. They're trying to be a second support for the team, shield up their team. That's a weird pick, but it does work.
Yeah, actually a really classic example of that would be the character Zilean. So you take Zilean and you put him in the mid lane, and so Zilean, what he can do is he can throw out a little bomb, and then he can reset his cooldowns to throw out another bomb. So he can, his early game, kind of shaky, it's not great, but once he starts getting some items, once he starts getting some cooldown reduction, he can throw out those bombs with his reset really fast. And so what Zilean mid will often do is we'll just delete the mid lane wave entirely, and they'll go roam to help out the team. It's not a very super carry oriented playstyle, but it is something a little unexpected that people might not be ready for. And what's nice about that is because you're not trying to play to win that lane necessarily, you can go and help support another lane and help that lane win.
Yeah, and you can see similar things going on in the top lane sometimes. You might see Karma top. That's a big pick right now.
Yeah.
And Karma is traditionally a support, but people have been playing her mid or top, and she has a lot of damage, so she can still kind of fight her laner, but she's playing to like shield her jungler and just she's a lot of stun, so she'll stun the enemy and just help her jungler deal with them. And so yeah, I think that's the game plan that I hope Eastern Michigan goes for.
Yeah, and it looks like we're about to get into draft now.
Yeah, let's
very shortly.
Let's see if we're well informed on anything we have said.
Yeah, the new patch has come out, so there's a lot of speculation, but this is where that speculation is put to the test. Ball State is on the blue side, so they will be getting that first ban, and Senna taken out of the game immediately. Always a solid ban, in my opinion. Senna has been very strong past patches. And, okay, well, we talked about Karma, and just banned out right away.
There is Saar in the draft. I expect to see Karma in every draft.
Yep, probably banned in every draft would be my best guess.
And I'm guessing Cassante banned next. We haven't talked about him much, but Cassante is just kind of a monster in pro play.
Yeah, in organized play, Cassante can be an absolute terror. The Udyr ban is interesting. I know Udyr has been a pretty strong laner in solo queue and in pro play, so they're probably looking to take out that top lane Udyr rather than jungle. I would like to see a Cassante ban here. If not, I'd like to see Cassante picked up on the next pick, certainly. I think that's a really priority pick. And that Twisted Fate, the TF, is going to be banned out entirely, so denying Wombat Baby that AD TF mid that he's kind of known for.
I guess they're still scared of it even after the item changes. And there's the Maokai. We're not going to be seeing that either.
That's not surprising to me. Maokai still being very strong, especially in that support role. I would really like to see a Cassante ban here, actually. I think leaving that character open is a little bit dangerous. Not necessarily a priority pick for draft, but at this point, I think that's probably the one you're looking to ban. Either that or potentially Aurelion Sol getting banned out here just because of how that character has been performing in a solo environment.
The Varus. So yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Varus Ashe bot lane lately, and I guess EMU is just a little scared of that.
Yeah, all right, so I said I want to see Cassante banned out, but I like the Varus ban as well. And that is a first pick Rumble for Ball State.
Now, where do you think that's going? Is that top, mid, jungle?
I would assume it'd be pick top. I think Rumble's pretty safe, blind top especially, and can be a solid counter pick in that mid lane depending on your matchup. So definitely a flex pick, but that's probably going to be going top lane. I think Rumble is one of the most busted characters in the game in top lane and has been for a very long time. So I like this pick from Ball State a lot. Thresh is being selected here for the side of EMU in that support role.
Yeah, and Thresh is just a classic support. He throws a hook and pulls people in. It's pretty not standard, but pretty simple character. Oh, and the Viego. I love that pick.
All right. So we talked about Unique, and Thresh is not super meta at the moment, so might be a comfort pick there, but Viego is really raising my eyebrows. That's definitely a statement pick. That character wants to carry. He wants to be doing a lot of the damage. He wants to be doing Viego things and getting a million different resets off in fights, because if Viego kills someone, he can take their soul and transform into them. So we are going to be seeing that Caitlyn locked in for the side of Ball State. That will be going in the bot lane, and the support will be drafted here momentarily. Would not be surprised to see some Engage or maybe even a Milio. I think Milio Caitlyn is pretty strong as well.
So far, this is a very interesting draft. These are 4 champions I was not expecting. I didn't know Caitlyn was considered even remotely good right now.
I think Caitlyn Lux is still a strong lane, so we might be seeing that Caitlyn Lux.
Ashe.
Caitlyn Ashe is also a very, very good lane. That's actually an incredibly impressive bot lane. That is not going to be fun for the side of EMU.
Now, I'm of course on the side of Ball State, but Viego is my most played character. I love that character, and I would love to see him play well in this league. I'm very interested in, there's lots of different builds he can go. Competitive play, typically they like to build tankier, less damage. But solo queue, just playing online by yourself, people like to build high damage. So I'm really interested to see what this player opts to go for.
The Aatrox lock in. I think Rumble still does win that matchup, but Rumble kind of wins any matchup top, honestly. Like, you're not looking to win top lane here if you're EMU.
We're going to need to see some tankiness over here on the side of Ball State, because right now they've got lots of damage. They've got lots of slows on Ash's side, but they don't really have anything that can get this Viego or this Aatrox off of them if they manage to get on top of them. They're going to need some kind of front line to help them.
Yeah, I'm expecting to see a tank jungler here. Certainly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Sejuani, although she's not super meta right now. Speaking of junglers, Lee Sin has been banned from the side of EMU. Not entirely sure I agree with that. I don't think Ball State's going to want to draft a carry jungler, but always a solid ban. And Xayah going to be banned from the side of Ball State, just trying to target that bot lane, since that's really the only part of the draft we're worrying about. Jarvan and Ezreal. So bot lane is being targeted by Ball State here, while jungle being targeted by EMU in the draft phase.
And I still don't understand those bans. I fully agree with you. I saw them playing lots of Sejuani and scrims. I think Sejuani's going to be the pick. I definitely would have banned that away if I was EMU right here.
Yeah, I don't think Jarvan's a horrible ban, but Sejuani really just seems like a natural choice for this draft from Ball State. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can steal Zeri.
That's a very interesting pick. So Zeri did get buffed.
Yeah,
on this
she got
patch.
a base AD buff, I believe.
So she's doing a little more damage, and maybe it's competitively viable now. She wasn't last patch. The Vi, so that's kind of some frontline right there.
Yeah, Vi can build quite tanky, actually, so I like this pick a lot coming from Ball State. Definitely really strong engage, has a lot of tools to help peel, so if this Aatrox and Viego want to try jumping onto the Ball State backline, you do have that Vi there. And Ahri, this is a pick that Wombat Baby is well known for, almost an iconic champion for him, and it's got a lot of peel, it's got decent damage, it's a very solid all-rounder champ. I really like Ball State's draft coming into this.
Here we go. What are they picking for right now? Mid lane, I think.
Mid lane,
Yep.
Taliyah.
Taliyah also getting buffs in the new update.
Yeah, I actually was looking at Taliyah's buffs, and I think it does have the potential to be quite insane for the character. She's always struggled this patch because there's not a lot of ability haste in the game at the moment, so it can be difficult to lower your cooldowns, and Taliyah does have some pretty high cooldowns. But she got a buff to her cooldowns, and she got a buff to her Q damage, and the damage on that Q, if it hits you, is nasty. It can chunk you really hard.
And I have realized you're here saying Q, W, E, R a lot. Those are the keys that the players have their hands on.
Yeah.
Just about every player uses those buttons to use their abilities. So if we say someone used their Q, it's the ability that's on their Q button. If we say they use their E, it's the ability that's on their E button.
And R will almost universally refer to ultimates.
Yeah, so R is very important.
Yeah. Definitely, if we say someone used R, that means it's something big is happening.
Yeah.
So honestly, I kind of like the drafts from both teams. Zeri and Taliyah are a bit of an X factor for me because they did just receive some buffs. But I really like Ball State's draft. I think it's very solid. And assuming these picks here were made with the buffs in mind from EMU, draft-wise, I think it's pretty interesting. Viego is definitely going to be the one you want to keep an eye on here.
Oh, yeah. So what Viego does that is very important is whenever he gets a kill, he can take over the body of the person that he killed, and he then gets their abilities for, like, I think it's the next 10 seconds. And it can quickly snowball into he takes someone's body, gets another kill, takes that body, gets another kill, takes that body. And Viego can be a very big carry character, but it's also pretty easy to shut down early and make him not strong. So I think early game's going to matter a lot for him. But this is the first comp I've seen where I'd say the other team has the more aggressive comp, the more aggressive team comp as opposed to Ball State. Ball State typically has a very offensive, gonna jump on you and try to end the game as fast as we can team comp, and this is the first time that I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, it does. I do feel like EMU does have a bit more agency in that early game, but keep in mind, this Rumble, if I remember my matchups correctly, which I should, this Rumble should make Aatrox's life in the top lane a living nightmare. Rumble has so much harass available and doesn't need to worry about resources like mana and things like that. If you even see Botlick has taken Ignite as a summoner spell, that means instead of teleport, he's going to be focusing on just trying to win lane as early as possible and using the extra damage from Ignite to sort of get Astro Smash out of lane and take it over for himself.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. They're definitely going to have pride on the top lane off of what you said there. but I don't know what to predict for these other lanes at all. I'd say Ball State's a very skilled team, so I feel like they're going to win just out of skill, but these team comps are very even.
Yeah, again, it really is just going to come down to how have the buffs shaken out for the characters that EMU has drafted. Talia got buffed, Zeri got buffed, and Zeri is kind of notorious for if you buff that character too much, she can quickly become a massive, massive issue that needs to be looked at from a balance standpoint.
Yeah, historically, she has been in every single professional game, every collegiate game. Like, she's always seen. She's either in the game or she's banned. And
yeah.
They finally, for a little bit of time, had her to where she wasn't in every game. But we'll see. It might be back.
Yeah, we could be witnessing the return of Zeri to the ESC. But again, I'm hyping up EMU's draft a little bit, but I'm going to stand by my prediction. I still think this is a Cardinals 2-0 Ball State. Even if I might not necessarily agree with all their draft choices, and even then, I think this is a pretty solid draft from Ball State. I think that they always have a game plan in mind. They always know what they're doing with these picks. So the question is, does EMU have as tight a game plan as Ball State I know will have for their draft? Or is this kind of maybe a bit of a roll the dice on, let's see if the new patch comes out?
Yeah, and we're actually in game right now. Let's jump
All
in
right,
and see how
let's
it's
get
going.
in, baby. It is Cardinals Ball State versus Eastern Michigan University, and we got into the game just as the top lane for EMU, that's Astro Smash, died. That kill went to the mid laner, Wombat Baby. So first blood goes to Ball State. Wombat Baby gets to go back to mid lane with a nice Dark Seal in his pocket.
Yeah, that's right off the bat a start that they're looking to snowball if they're having a Dark Seal like that.
Yep, Dark Seal does stack over time as you manage to get kills. So, you like more stacking damage, especially if you're Ahri.
And that's honestly, that's a rough start just right off the bat. That Ahri can take over lane with just a little bit of a damage lead. I expect that we're going to see either Ahri just permanently having the wave shoved up mid lane or lots of fighting or winning in the side of Ahri. And here we go, a fight in the bot lane.
Already, Ball State bot lane is taking advantage of the fact that they have two crazy oppressive bot laners that are just going to bully that Zeri. Kalios is already below half health, and at that point, again, it feels like bot lane, on paper at least, is over for Eastern Michigan.
And this is just a showcase of the power of a double-ranged bot lane. Caitlyn and Ashe are both typically ADC characters or attack damage carries. But right now, Ashe is playing support, but she still hurts a lot early game. And you can't really compete damage-wise this early in the game against them.
And if you look at the farm, so that is a 7-0 CS lead in the bot lane. Oh, but the hook is going to land, and the engage is coming on the Quokka. The exhaust has been popped. Quokka taken very, very low, and the trade does come back. So Yoon is going to trade back some of that damage for Stacy, as it appears that the tag is reading as right now. Angry Duck is here, maybe looking for a re-engage. That bot lane is very, very low. This could be a tower dive that we're witnessing. Huge wave is crashing into the Eastern Michigan tower. Angry Duck is here for the dive. The flash is going to be committed, but Kalios is going to flash out. Kalios is taken super, super low, but Angry Duck will manage to get the kill. And the bot lane for Ball State down, low in HP, but they will happily take the kill, the tower plate, and all that gold.
And what an early lead for the side of Ball State right there. You do not see level 2 tower dives this early in the game that very often anymore. That's quite crazy to see that happen. I'm not sure EMU is really going to have to fight to take their lead back here in the bot lane.
Yeah, I said it was kind of over after Kalios got bullied out super early, but now it really does feel like it is completely over. That is so many resources that have just been dropped into the Ball State bot lane, and they are just going to keep bullying. The hook does land, the engage coming in from that Thresh, but there's just simply no follow-up. You don't have the damage. Wish goes down, and that will be another kill for Ball State. Already a 2K gold lead, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game.
We are going to need to see Viego on the side of EMU rotate down and just try to get his bot lane back in the game.
He is up there top lane, but he's just going to die.
Wow.
Boatlick picking up another kill, or one kill, excuse me. And off screen, Wombat Baby, Ball State, calm down.
Ball State is already very much in the lead. 6 kills to 0 at 4 minutes. That is, I'd say unheard of typically, but we did this last week too.
This is crazy. Ball State, we were kind of considering how the draft might go, you know, oh, there's a new patch. Ball State says, nah, we are just here to fight early and fight aggressive. And it really feels like every single lane for EMU is just so irreparably far behind already. They have a mountain to climb if they want even a chance of coming back.
And just to use my Viego knowledge, it looks like he might be building Blade of the Ruined King first item, which is just a terrible item on him right now. Especially these components is going to make his early game much slower, much less damage. Little questionable. He's gonna struggle in fights for a little bit. That's for sure.
And that's not what you want because oh wow,
another
Wombat
solo kill.
Baby. Okay, killing spree already.
And wow, it's hard to even keep up with what's happening. Ball State is just dominating in all 3 lanes and the jungle right now. EMU needs to change something up immediately because this game is already just disappearing from their grasp. They can't hold. They're not going to. It's rough right now.
Yeah, this is looking incredibly bad for EMU. This is an insane lead, and the only reason I think I'm not even more ecstatic is because Ball State already did something similar last week against Toledo. Thresh Lantern is going to be thrown out there by Wish. I don't know, just to do something. You can't do anything in his bot lane right now. The oppression from this Caitlyn and from this Ashe is just absolutely insane. And the engage is going to come onto Wish. Wish needs to get out, but the slows from the Ashe are connecting. Wish taken so low, and we have Yoon just going to dodge the hook. Doesn't quite manage to finish off Wish. The shield keeping Wish alive just a little bit longer. And Ball State will once again crash this wave and will start getting more gold in their pocket.
And the Thresh has to back, so his ADC is going to get tower dived by these 2 Ball State members. Can they take him out without losing one? And yes, they do. Both of them live. They're looking to take tower. They got the 3 Void Grubs off screen, so they're doing a little more bonus damage to this tower. And they're looking at like a 7-8 minute tower maybe.
Which is insane. They're not even level 6 yet. And they've already taken almost the entire. It is 8 kills to 0. It has just hit the 7-minute mark in this game. That's almost 14k gold to 9k gold in favor of Ball State. The Dragon's up, and I have full confidence Ball State has the map pressure to go and secure that objective.
And right now, they just have priority in all lanes. They have that wave shoved up, giving their jungler pretty much free reign of the map. It looks like, okay, I was incorrect. Viego is going Kraken Slayer first item. He's just building the components in a little bit of a weird order. So he's not going to be too hurt like I thought he would early. But I think EMU's chances kind of rely on this Viego right here. He needs to get some ganks off. He needs to try to shut down this bot lane.
And the engage is going to be coming on to Quokka. Quokka taken very, very low. The exhaust will be popped, but the cleanse on the side of EMU will be popped as well, just to try and get out of that slowing area. Quokka is super low HP, and while Yoon does have that damage, Yoon does not have the sustain to stand in the face of Azeri with little tempo, but the flash is going to be committed in an attempt to escape. Angry Duck with a beautiful flank, doesn't quite manage to secure Kalios, but will happily take Wish instead. But Wish will get out using the shield from that lantern. You get the flash from the bot lane and the cleanse, and EMU bot lane once again is just finding itself in a disaster, and the Ashe arrow will land. It's going to stun Wish, and Wish is going to try and hook to keep themselves alive, but Yoon will happily just kill them instead. And this tower is already looking to go at just over the 8-minute mark.
And in the meantime, we saw yet another solo kill in the mid lane. Wombat Baby taking out that Talia, just absolutely dominating this mid lane. But here comes Viego. I think Viego's looking to gank mid, maybe try to get some gold off of taking Wombat Baby here, but I don't think he can do it.
The wall is going to be committed, but Wombat Baby hits an incredible charm. The damage is really not there, but there is a numbers advantage, but Remy here is rotating, Remy being Angry Duck. The shutdown, that's massive here, as Viego does get the reset, is now going to be playing as that Ari, and the Gecko will get Angry Duck as well. This is exactly what EMU needs to get back into this match. Finally getting some kills on the board.
Yep, now they just need to stick with that. Viego needs to be where all their gold goes right now. Their bot lane is probably not coming back in this game anytime soon. They're going to lose tower. Their bot lane is just struggling. Viego is where the gold is, and a fight breaks out.
Oh, Ball State is committing to this as the ultimate from the Rumble is going to be committed, and Boatlick is on a killing spree. Boatlick looking to pick up a double kill as well, and that is not what you want as EMU. Like you said, you want to be putting everything into this Viego. This Viego is your lifeline. Anytime Viego is not on the map impacting the game, it is just going to be a disaster for EMU, and that death is the last thing they need. Might even, oh, okay, wait,
Does get hooked.
Going to engage with the Zeri ultimate has been popped. Yoon needs to get out. That's a lot of damage. The Ash arrow is going to force EMU off. That could have been dangerous for Ball State, but they do manage to keep themselves alive.
And they're at the point where even if this Thresh hits a hook, it's still a win on the side of Ball State. Zeri blue ultimate, hit nobody with it, and now is down in ultimate. Like, that hurt them in the end.
Yeah, and Zeri still down those summoner spells, does not have access to flash or cleanse, has limited mobility, and if you get stunned by Ash, I mean, there's no cleanse for you. You're just going to have to rely on that Thresh Lantern to try and get out. But Ball State, more than happy to just choke EMU out of this lane. They're just going to let that wave be there naturally. And Wombat Baby will pick up another solo kill in the mid lane. The Gecko unable to do anything in response as Void Grubs are taken off screen.
And we are seeing the first two members in the lobby to complete their first item being the Rumble and Wombat Baby in the mid on Ari. They have such a power advantage over everyone right now that the Ari can just tower dive this early in the game by herself and get a kill. Like,
it's insane. It's looking dire for EMU, to put it bluntly. The charm from Wombat Baby just goes a bit wide. Ball State might be looking for an engage here, but you might be playing with fire here. That is still a tower, and that is 3 members to your 2. And it looks like they're just going to be backing off, maybe try and fight in the jungle, as Ball State has all the control over the map here. They are rotating to that top side. Oh, this Aatrox is looking very, very vulnerable. The wall does come in from EMU, and the World Ender from Aatrox will keep EMU alive. Ball State just going to disengage, but maybe looking for the re-engage here. They want to fight. They are strong, and they want EMU dead. The charm lands. Boatlick is unstoppable. Boatlick hungry for blood, looking for more. The ult from Caitlyn will be blocked by the Aatrox, but Wombat Baby will simply take down Leviathan anyway. Astro Smash will kill Angry Duck, but at the cost of their own life as Quokka trades back in kind. This top tower looking mighty low. The plate has been cracked. The bonus gold will be given to Ball State as the tower falls.
EMU's only chance at winning those fights is to get Viego somebody's body. He needs to get a kill and take control of their body. He tried that time. He got someone a little low, but they were able to burst him. Ball State, their game plan, don't let Viego get a single kill. EMU, their only option is to get Viego a kill.
And I think that really shows desperation of the situation. This is literally EMU's only option. Ball State can't afford to maybe make a few mistakes here and there, but EMU, this margin of error is growing smaller and smaller for them. They really cannot afford too many other lost fights. Otherwise, Ball State is just going to completely destroy them and take this game over.
And here we see they've already taken the bot tower. They've already taken the top tower. Mid is going to go down here. They are opening up this map. They are not allowing Viego to farm his own camps. They're not allowing any of EMU to get money. They are just stuck in this tragic situation.
Yeah, Wish had to burn Flash there, actually, lest they get caught up in the just sheer wall of damage that Ball State is outputting. Dragon is coming up in about 25 seconds. Ball State very much in a position to take it.
And it's just hard to have much else to say about what's going on right now. This is about as badly as you can get beaten down at the moment.
Yeah, you haven't taken a tower. You've barely taken any members of Ball State's lives. You haven't taken any objectives. You can't farm. You can't fight. EMU's back is not just against the wall. They are being pressed into it. Angry Duck just going to be taking this Drake solo, and there's nothing EMU can do in response.
And if I were EMU, I would already be thinking about next. If Viego goes down, Caitlyn killing him once again, and they're looking to dive this mid tower. Not quite. They're just going to take the tower instead of going for any kills. Although Aatrox.
Oh, Astro Smash with the engage, and Zerial does come out. That is a nice shutdown, a 1,000 gold shutdown actually for Astro Smash. That is pretty significant, but Ball State here with the re-engage. Angry Duck going to be knocking up different members of EMU here. Quaka will take down Wish as the other member of EMU will fall. This Aatrox just trying to make something happen, but Kalios will fall. Astro Smash will fall. Double kill for Angry Duck. Oh, and I would not go for this, buddy. That is just so much damage. And look at that. The Gecko took 2 auto attacks, is already at half HP.
Now, this Viego does have first item. That is enough damage for him to 1v2 this bot lane. If he is able to get on top of one of them, he can very easily kill them both. He still has a chance, but it's looking rough.
Yeah, and we are going to be taking this Rift Herald here. Angry Duck has been on top of every objective almost as soon as it spawns, it feels like. And this Rift Herald will help with pushing these lanes. You can take towers faster, rather. Although, honestly, I'm not sure Ball State needs the help.
No, they definitely don't need any help right now, but I think that is going to help them possibly end out this game very soon.
Again, there's just not much to say. EMU just needs to start winning these fights, but now it's just such a foregone conclusion. They just don't have the damage. They don't have the stats. They're losing towers left and right. It is 36k gold, rather, to 24k gold from the side of EMU. And Ball State is just so far ahead in economy and game plan. They're executing these fights almost flawlessly. And the charm coming out from Wombat Baby. Wombat Baby is just going to kill everybody on a rampage. Gets the double kill. And here comes the re-engage from EMU. Maybe trying to make something happen. But look at that. Ashe is so squishy and just takes almost no damage. Bolik will just take down the Gecko. Wombat Baby is just going for the highlight reel plays. Dominating. Will take down Leviathan. Astro Smash is going to be chased down by the Rift Herald, is just trying to stay alive, is just stuck under this tower. There's not much you can do. The rest of EMU is rotating. Ball State might not want to take this fight. Their health values are very low, but their damage is much higher than EMU could ever hope to compete with. Quaka on a killing spree. The Zeri ult has been popped. Ball State just looking to end the game right here, right now.
And I think that is the game. They're going to take down this tower and end it at a 17-minute game. Not even long enough to forfeit at 20 right there.
Wow.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, EMU needs to be thinking about this next game, because even with a good draft, like their draft wasn't bad at all. It just wasn't enough.
That was... I thought that was a solid draft from EMU. Again, some X factors there because of the patch of the patch that dropped. But man, I expected Ball State to win this. Don't get me wrong, but we were loading into the game, and in the time it took for the graphic to transition to the game, Ball State had already gotten a kill.
Yeah. They definitely took their lead very early in that game. And now I'm thinking, if I'm EMU, what do I do to stop that? Firstly, maybe it was just that game, but it seemed like Zeri was not doing any damage at all. I don't think the buffs did anything.
Nope. I think you maybe just take this idea of, oh, new patch, throw it out the window. I think you wanna turtle up, maybe you want to play for that mid game, maybe play for that late game. It's clear that Ball State have a very strong grasp of the early game, so you're gonna want to take characters and picks that are going to be able to play safe and just scale up. And you know what? If that means you have to be an Ezreal and just farm for 20 minutes under tower, sometimes that means you're just going to be an Ezreal and farm for 20 minutes under tower.
And clearly Ball State is liking this double ranged, and the other team expected that. They banned away Varus, banned away Senna, which are both ranged bot laners. But still, Ball State picked 2 ranged bot laners. I think they're going to have to expect that. They're going to have to expect Ball State to pick 2 ranged bot laners and try to counter that. Maybe you get like a Ziggs or something. Make these 2 squishy ranged bot laners, make them have to dodge some stuff themselves. Abuse that, because that is really, they lost through bot immediately. They need to not let that happen.
Yeah, they lost. I think bot was definitely sort of the highlight of that particular match. I mean, every lane, to be frank, was the highlight. Wombat Baby kept killing people so quickly that the spectators couldn't even swap to it fast enough. It was just, oh, we're here. Oh, Wombat Baby's got a kill. Okay, let's go back to bot lane. They're killing somebody. But it looks like we are going to be getting into the draft pretty soon. Just kidding. We are not going to be getting into draft.
Okay.
There's a bit of a delay on that. But
one thing I find really interesting is Ahri is not a standard like competitive pick. You don't really see pro players playing her. You don't see too many collegiate players playing her. But Wombat Baby's making Ahri look like the strongest character in the game right now.
It's kind of incredible, actually. Truly an iconic champion. I would say to Silk Flannel is to Fiora, Wombat Baby is to Ahri. He just has such an insane mastery over this character, and it needs to be a consideration when you're drafting.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm still just trying to think, what can EMU do to just stop this? So we already established bot lane needs to pick something that can counter a double range.
Yeah.
Now, I still like the jungle pick. I think the Viego was doing the best he could with what he was given.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is always kind of hard to judge how a jungle pick plans out when all your lanes are losing.
In the first minute.
Yeah. It seemed like he was certainly trying. Definitely had a really nice, when Ball State was ahead earlier, actually, the Gecko, that was who was playing the Viego. The Gecko got off 2 really nice takedowns into resets with the Soul passive. So I think the Viego was putting in the work. I think the Taliyah needs to go.
Yeah, clearly the Taliyah is just, maybe it's the champ, maybe it's the player, I'm not really sure. It doesn't work against our Ahri right now.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to be playing against Twisted Fate or Ahri in the mid lane most games. So you got to pick something that can at least survive. You can't be giving away that many kills that early.
Yeah, I do. Since it seems that EMU is willing to experiment with the patch a bit, I do know that some characters who use Rod of Ages got kind of a massive buff. Opinion is sort of split on whether that buff is going to make the item relevant again.
Yeah.
But a lot of users of Rod of Ages are totally fine at maybe having a weaker early game and then scaling up into a mid-game monster. I know Kassadin likes Rod of Ages. I know Ryze likes Rod of Ages. Actually, Ryze has a pretty strong early game. But I know Ryze likes Rod of Ages. I know Cassio likes Rod of Ages. Cassiopeia, rather, likes Rod of Ages. So if you are willing to sort of experiment with these patch changes, as it seems that EMU is, might as well just see how Rod of Ages pans out. You are going to be having a scaling mid laner picking that item anyway.
But then there's also the case, Ball State's closing these games out in 17 minutes. Rod of Ages takes time to kick in and really be a good item.
Rod of Ages takes exactly 10 minutes to fully stack, actually.
And you don't typically finish it until around 10 minutes, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe a little after that. So they need the game to go long if that's going to be useful.
Yeah, that is a bit of a tall ask. I agree. So maybe it did get buffed during the patch, but there are plenty of other scaling mid laners that don't rely on Rod of Ages that you could also pick as well. I just think the Taliyah was not the move.
But then there's also the case they lost to that level 1 invade. Wombat Baby had a kill before laning phase even started. And we've seen that a couple times against other teams. Teams need to stop that. Like, our players know how to take that lead and just snowball it. And giving them a lead before the game's like even really started, it makes everything you do kind of not matter anymore.
Yeah, and we did talk about once Ahri gets even a little bit of extra damage, it can quickly turn into a problem. And Wombat Baby was very much a problem.
He was killing people before I could even like react to what ability he threw out.
Just kind of, I know he would use the Ahri's ultimate, which has a dash. He'd dash in, then just kind of press his buttons and dash out.
Yeah, just dash in, press WQ, they're done, and then leave. It's a little strong.
Again, Ari, like you said, not super meta, not the most competitive character, but Wombat Baby is out here making Ari look like the most craziest, most broken character in League of Legends. So let's talk about top lane a bit.
Yeah.
Because first picking Rumble, it's like, oh, well, crap, we don't have a lot of winning matchups into Rumble now. I think you honestly just take a tank and hunker down in that scenario. Aatrox felt like a bit of a bold choice into that.
Yeah, I agree. And also there's the fact, lots of the members of EMU that game, they kind of rely on walking up close to you and getting close. And Rumble has a giant slow, a bunch of damage that can just block your path to them. If they want to pick comps like that, they just need to ban Rumble, I think. Just get Rumble out of there. They can try to deal with a Fiora. They can try to deal with Camille or something. That's doable. But dealing with a Rumble that's ahead when you're a bunch of melee characters is just too hard.
Yeah, it's painful. I have been on the receiving end of many a Rumble top, and it is just not fun to deal with. And now, this time, we are going into draft. So let's see. Can EMU learn from their mistakes? Can they draft something and then more importantly execute that draft well? Or does Ball State come in and sweep? We have EMU on that blue side. Ash getting banned out immediately with the Karma coming out from Ball State getting banned out as well.
And yeah, they are banning away that Ashe. They don't want a double ranged.
Yeah, no, they just don't want that double ranged. The Karma, again, that's a pretty standard ban. We said it would be contested in basically every draft. And I would not be shocked, honestly, to see another Varus ban coming out. Or the Rumble. I like the Rumble ban, actually. We talked about this. If you're going to draft the melee heavy comp, just ban out the Rumble.
Exactly what we're wanting. And I think the Karma ban from Ball State's great because I feel like that's what they need to put in the mid lane on the side of EMU. I think Karma would be how they survive mid lane, but it's gone now, so whoop-de-doo, I guess. I don't know.
Whoop-de-doo. I do. So the Udyr ban, I'm guessing that's a bit of a comfort pick for the one of the members of EMU, because I wouldn't think he'd be super contested in draft, but he is getting banned out. And the Lee Sin ban coming out from EMU as well. I think that's solid. I think there are maybe some more higher priority picks you want to ban out. I do kind of want to see that Ari and that Cassante get targeted, especially if you are from EMU here. Maokai getting banned out by Ball State as well.
And there's the Maokai, yeah, as you said. I'm not sure. What do they want for a first pick here? I don't know what they can go.
Yeah, there's... honestly,
Cassante,
I think Cassante is going to be the solid choice. Cassante is not without his unfavorable matchups, but the champion is just super strong anyway, and we said we want to see a tank that can turtle down and just survive laning phase. First pick, Varus. I don't hate it, but I don't love it.
So I think they're trying to do what Ball State did last game. They banned the Ashe from Ball State. That's one range bot laner down. They picked the other typical champion play for double range bot.
Yeah, but now you just have the Senna.
And now the Senna's on Ball State. So Ball State's going to have another double range bot lane. They didn't really go about that in the best way.
Yeah. I think if you are trying, I think honestly at some point you just got to accept, okay, Ball State likes double range, they're going to run double range, but they are going to be locking in this Gragas. Now Gragas a bit of a flex pick. I think he's strongest in the jungle at the moment.
He's actually strongest in the top lane.
Okay, right? Top lane.
Actually, I don't know. It might be mid lane too.
I mean, Gragas can be played in literally any position on Summoner's Rift.
I think with the new item updates, Gragas is kind of a triple flex pick, strong in every role. So that could be going top, mid, jungle, either three. There's that Viego again. I was kind of hoping to see that.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to see it too. We didn't really get to see how well it would have done in game just because of the lane situation. So, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. We talked about it seemed like Viego was definitely the strong part of EMU's game there. So you might as well just pick the Viego, and you do have, I would have liked to see the bot lane sort of locked in here for EMU, just tidy up all your loose ends. And I don't know if I like the Thresh pick.
Maybe they're trying to play like really long range. They're going to have this Varus build lethal.
Whoa!
Okay. Ball State has changed it up. Is that an ADC Yasuo?
I kind of hope so.
So we're a little confused because Gragas can go mid. And Yasuo over here is typically also a mid laner, but sometimes he's played as the ADC.
He can be flex top as well, although that is extremely matchup dependent. And we have lost access to the rest of the draft graphic. I did see Lissandra getting banned out by Ball State, and we're back. Here we go. So Lissandra is going to be banned out by Ball State there. I think that's an evergreen ban this season. Lissandra has been a very consistent pick, so no complaints from me. Cassante finally getting banned out. It looks like nobody was picking it.
I still pick that first. Come on.
I think Cassante is still quite strong this patch, so I'm a little surprised that neither team has tried to grab him up in draft. I don't think it's necessarily a priority pick, but I'm sort of shocked that neither team has made a go for him. Jack's getting banned out. Again, I think it's a solid evergreen ban. And last ban here for EMU. What do you think? What are you banning if you're EMU?
I might be an Ari. Although that mid laner might be picked. I don't know.
There's some flexibility with Ball State's draft that's messing with me a little bit.
I guarantee EMU is struggling just as much as we are with knowing where those are going.
Yeah, the Ornn ban feels almost random, honestly. Like, Ornn's a solid champion. Might as well just get him out of there.
Yeah, I guess. And I'm really questioning EMU's bot lane here. So...
No!
What?
No way.
Lock it.
Lock it. Yes!
Okay, so we still don't know who's going where. We have 3 mid laners locked in on the side of Ball State.
That has to be a Gragas jungle. There's no way that's not a Gragas jungle.
I'm thinking Gragas jungle, Yone mid, and Yasuo ADC. This is definitely not a standard team comp for any competitive play.
The Orianna mid is going to be locked in. I think just by the sheer energy oozing off of this draft, Ball State kind of wins based on vibes. Because, oh my goodness, locking in Yone Yasuo is incredible.
You know, we said we wanted to see some interesting off-meta picks from the side of EMU, but it looks like Ball State's the one choosing to do that.
This is a statement piece right here. Frame this and put it in a museum, I swear.
And so we do see Olaf locked in on the side of EMU. Interesting top lane pick. It stomps some matchups, hard loses some matchups, and honestly, I don't know who he's playing against. I'm still
Where
so
are they going?
Where? So Wukong, once again, he can play top lane, he can play jungle, and he can also sometimes play mid, and he got buffs this patch. So I don't know who's going where.
Okay, so it looks like from where Ball State has set things up. So Senna, if she's being run in the bot lane, is often paired with an engage tank, Tom Kench. Except it seems we have swapped out the Tom Kench for the Wukong, which has a lot of engage. I know it was played support way back in the day.
The only pick I was confident in was Senna support, and that's not even true. Senna is the ADC.
She is going to take the support item, it should be noted. This is going to be a fasting Senna lane.
And Wukong over here, I have never seen a Wukong support in my life. But
it was popular, like, and I say popular in air quotes, like 2, maybe 3 seasons ago. I know some people ran it. That Wukong is going to be farming that lane while Senna gets gold from the support item and using... so when minions die, they'll drop little souls, and Senna can pick those souls up to get gold and stats. So what you'll often see if Senna is paired with an engage tank is the engage tank is going to do its best to farm, and you have the Senna just picking up the souls to get gold that way. This is extremely interesting. Olaf in particular is making me raise my eyebrows a bit. I don't know if it's a good matchup into Yone or not.
I don't know either. So Olaf's ultimate makes him, he cannot be crowd controlled at all. You can't stun him, you can't knock him up. He's immune to all of that. And Yone's ultimate typically locks people in place for a long time, and then he also has a knock-up. So if Olaf uses his ultimate right, I think he wins the matchup, but I don't know.
I'm just kind of shocked to see an Olaf top, to be frank. That champion, I know I've seen it in a few scrims in and around the ESC, both this season and last season. It's just, I've never been in love with the champion. I don't think it's amazing, but that ult does kind of beat up Yone's knockups a bit, so at least that's something. But honestly, I think like you're really cutting into your front line by picking Olaf top here, because the team fighting from EMU kind of doesn't feel like there's a lot of synergy between these picks.
I think they're just going to go for a lot of damage. My guess would be that Varus is going to go a lethality build this game. So Varus has 2 builds. Lethality is he's going to fire this really long-range arrow and just do a lot of damage in one hit. Or he has just auto-attack builds or on-hit builds where his character, rapidly fires his bow and slowly deals a lot of damage. I think their whole team just kind of looking for burst. Viego's going to try to be hitting people with ultimate. Varus is going to be trying to hit Qs. Oriana's going to be, I guess, ult pulling people in. It is such a weird combo.
Yeah, we were like kind of laughing at it, but Ball State's team composition, if unorthodox, isn't terrible, right? They do have a lot of team fighting ability with that Gragas, with that Yone, with that Wukong, with the Senna even. Honestly, I feel like Yasuo is the really big X factor, so I'm curious to see how that'll go. But EMU, it really does feel like, okay, let's just throw out a lot of burst damage and try and use that. But the problem is if this Varus, and I think you are right, I think this Varus is just going to go for the burst lethality build, you have almost no form of consistent damage per second as EMU.
There's also the chance, though, Ball State doesn't really have any tanks. Gragas is probably their tankiest character. Wukong can get a little, like, bruisery. He'll have some health items. But they don't really have any tanks, and most of their damage is AD, or attack damage. So if somehow this Olaf can get ahead and get like 2 or 3 armor items, I do think the Olaf might be a great pick.
I think you mentioned this to me when we were discussing Viego a bit a while ago. Viego can build a more tanky build as well, can't he?
He can go a bruiser build, but that largely relies on the rest of the team dealing damage.
Oh, okay.
He is not looking to deal damage himself. He's just looking to stay alive in fights and take a body, and then use the damage from the body that he takes. Because when he takes a body, he uses their items and has their damage. So that's what he would go. I think he has to go damage this game.
Yeah, if his bruiser build loses out on a lot of damage, then I would also be inclined to agree. He's probably going to want to just go for a lot of burst. So we are going to be hopping in the game real quick. EMU, a big problem for them was the early game. This team composition they've drafted is extremely early game oriented, I feel, generally speaking.
You said on the side of EMU?
EMU, yeah. They're gonna want to get ahead in the early game because their mid game, I think Ball State wins out in the mid game.
So typically, I do think this comp is definitely early game focused. However, just due to Ball State's team comp, I feel like EMU might do better trying to take this late. I think once they get items and they're able to just, like, they can just stack armor against Ball State right here, and Ball State won't deal all that much. Thresh can get really tanky. Olaf can get really tanky. Even Viego, he can build 1 damage item, and he can start building just armor bruiser items and be somewhat tanky. I think EMU might want this to go mid to late game.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This is very interesting drafts from both teams, and we are already getting some action in that bot lane, just getting that early pushing power. Senna is quite a scary level 1 laner, but Quokka is going to be hooked by that Thresh, and ultimately, nothing's going to really come of it. Senna is quite squishy, but she does have a lot of damage and a lot of disengage potential, especially with that Fleet Footwork rune that she has taken.
And I'm just wondering how this support, in quotes, Wukong is really going to play out, because he doesn't really have anything. He doesn't have an ADC. He doesn't have the range of an ADC. He doesn't have like a lot of stuns or anything of a support. He's kind of just damage. Melee damage.
Yeah, the engage when he gets his ultimate ability, though, is quite insane. It's probably the same idea as Tahm Kench. It's just less tanky than Tahm Kench. So, we'll see how it plays out. It seems like the early game is going quite well for Ball State, at least. That Senna does have a lot of poke. Meanwhile, up top, oh man, Boatlick is gonna, not Boatlick, Angry Duck is gonna grab first blood. Boatlick getting taken quite low. Meanwhile, down in the bot lane, it looks like Yoon will die early, and it is just Quokka as the Wukong trying to stay alive, maybe get a kill back. So that is a 1-for-1 so far.
And that's both trades or good trades for both sides. I do believe Ball State needs to shut down this Olaf, make sure he cannot be in the game. But on the other hand, EMU really wants their bot lane to be strong. And starting out like that, that's a good start. They were able to get the first blood. I think that was first blood for them, right?
It was first blood for Ball State, actually.
Okay, so Ball State getting slightly more gold from that first blood. But still, EMU taking the lead in the bot lane right here. Let's see, can they continue this? Can they push the slight lead that they have right now?
Well, not if Quokka's got something to say about it, as Yoon is going to be rotating down. And that's a lot of damage onto that Varus. Kalios is going to have to be very careful, as Senna can quite easily gun someone down from what feels like miles away, honestly.
So I guess what we're seeing here is...
Oh! Off-screen, Astro Smash gets taken down. Ball State does not want this Olaf to have a good time. You were right on that call. And in the meanwhile, oh, the Flay just misses. I saw the idea that Wish was running with, just didn't quite manage to secure it.
And I guess the game plan of the Wukong here in this bot lane is really to just dash in, get one hit off, and then back out. And, oh, here comes the Viego, though. Is the Viego going to try to gank this bot lane?
Ball State, they have an idea that he's there. Oh, the juke from Quokka! Oh, but the hook is going to come onto Yoon over there, and the Flay is going to get Quokka back into the back line. The flash is going to be forced to be burned by Kalios. Kalios is taken so low, but Ball State cannot finish off the kill, and now Quokka on the back foot as his HP is so low, but the root coming out from Yoon. Flash going to be committed by Quokka. The Gecko is 1 HP with the Flay hits, and that is a double kill for the Ball State bot lane. It was back and forth, but Ball State comes out on top in the end, and I'm cheering with you right there, because that clone juke from Quokka was a masterclass in how to play Wukong.
Okay, an explanation of why we freaked out right there. Wukong, one of his abilities, he dashes and leaves a clone behind of himself. So what he did is he didn't dash. He just stood still and made them think that that was a clone standing there, but it was really him standing there. He's just playing mind games with them, and it won them that entire fight.
That was crazy. Well played, of course, by Yoon, but Quokka absolutely the MVP of that entire skirmish. Like you said, that literally won them the fight. He got access to the backline immediately after using that clone juke.
And here, Wukong, as I said, he's just going to dash in, try to get a bonk out, and back up. I'm honestly surprised that he didn't go a Sheen first item. Imagine how hard that would be hitting, just that one hit that he keeps doing over and over.
Yeah, but you do got to worry about the poke, so I think going armor boots is kind of the move. And you can see Quokka is just walking in front of them, standing still, just playing mind games with his clone ability. And that's just got to be stressful to deal with as EMU, especially since it already cost you a skirmish. Ball State, they're doing quite well so far. It's just the mind games. It's the Wukong mind games.
He is just playing around with this clone. They are getting scared. They don't know. Should we shoot at him? Is it a clone? Is it not a clone? No one knows.
Oh, and meanwhile up here, Botlick is just going to get a nice kill. Angry Duck is making sure this Yone is going to be winning that lane. That is a 0 and 3 Olaf. That is 0 kills and 3 deaths. You don't want that as EMU. Hook narrowly missing Yoon there. But overall, Ball State up 5 kills to 1, up a very significant amount of gold, and they are dominating this early game.
And at this point, I said Olaf needs to get ahead. He is already 2 levels behind. He's not even level 6 yet. It doesn't matter if his ultimate blocks all of the crowd control in the lobby. This Yone has so much damage. He doesn't need to hit a knock-up. He can just stand there autoing you to death. And you can't really do anything about it anymore.
Meanwhile, mid lane has been fairly quiet, all things considered. It is a Yasuo versus an Orianna. Yasuo kind of struggles in these range matchups. It's just going to flash out. I think, yeah, that was a shockwave that had been, the Leona ultimate had been committed there. But meanwhile, in the bot lane, Quokka going to be using the Wukong ultimate to try and get a knock-up. And Kalios will just barely get out with their life. That has got to be less than triple-digit HP that you're left on there. Meanwhile, Wombat Baby is caught out, is trying to get a kill, is just going to be forced to dash out, is so low, but the Gecko just has nothing to catch up to him. And in the meantime, Angry Duck is coming in for the re-engage, might actually have the damage to take down this Viego. There's nothing the Orianna can do, and Yoon from downtown with the Senna ultimate will secure the kill.
So Senna ultimate is global. It can hit anywhere, and yeah, just securing that kill from the other side of the map, that is rough. Viego missed his stun, and that pretty much lost him the entire fight. If he had hit that stun, he would have gotten the kill. He could have turned onto the Gragas, gotten 2 kills. A big misplay on the side of EMU right there. I am not sure what they're going to do to come back from this.
Yeah, it's a very unorthodox team comp, and it's clearly catching EMU off guard. Clan's going to be committed there from the ADC while Kwaka goes into engage. Yoon just putting out damage from that back line. There is not a lot of mana available to the Ball State bot lane, so they are just going to have to back off. They simply don't have the resources to use their spells. But, I mean, this Ball State bot lane looking pretty good so far. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we have the engage as Angry Duck and Wombat Baby are just going to jump onto the Vieta. And Wombat Baby hitting a beautiful Yasuo ultimate. They're getting in the knockup. And in the meanwhile, we see this Olaf Astro Smash just cannot play the game. This Yone is dominating this top lane.
And so we didn't talk about that combo. Gragas, Ball State's jungler, has a knockup in his kit, or he has multiple knockups. And Yasuo, played by Wombat Baby in the mid lane, his ultimate works off of knockups. If someone's knocked up, he can use his ultimate and do a ton of damage and kind of stun them in the air for a while. So whenever that Gragas comes in mid lane, they have an easy route to get Yasuo's ult onto that mid laner, and that's what they did there.
Yeah, it is a nasty, nasty combo to deal with, and Levitia, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, but Levitia is just struggling to deal with it as this mid lane is very far ahead, at least in terms of farm and now in kills for Ball State. Off screen, the Void Grubs, however, will be taken by the Viego. There might be a fight going on. It looks like they're just going to disengage. In the meantime, just going to be trading back and forth here in this bot lane.
And I don't think Viego got the Void Grubs. He might have gotten one of them.
Oh yeah, it looks like Ball State is actually securing the rest of them.
Yeah, Viego got 1 Void Grub, so Ball State is going to secure 5 Void Grubs. That means now, if you get 5 or 6, you have little minions that will help you shove your lanes out in every lane. They'll help you take down towers faster, and it's very, very helpful. That's a big buff for Ball State right there. Not that they needed anything.
Yeah, they are. It's not quite as dominant as last game, but Ball State is just quite far ahead. And might just be looking for a tower dive here. The Thresh ultimate is going to be committed, and the Root is going to come onto the Wukong. That is a lot of damage being taken by Kwaka, but Yoon just has so much damage in his own kit, and Kwaka, using the Clone Dash and the Wukong ultimate, will actually just barely manage to get out, but they are both so low HP, it does not matter.
Oh
Yoon
my
just
gosh.
barely lives the engage, but will get the kill, will get the gold, will be doing damage to this tower, actually securing it, I believe, thanks to the power of the Void Grubs. And Ball State sitting pretty, but Levitia is coming down here for the re-engage. Meanwhile, up top, as Olaf is very, very low. The ultimate has been hit, so the knockup will be deleted. But that is a shutdown in the bot lane. And that Yone did die up top, but Angry Duck on a killing spree. It is a bloodbath on Summoner's Rift, and Ball State just barely comes out on top.
I'm just going to keep laughing on this. Oh, Viego jumping onto Yasuo, but I don't think he has the damage to do anything.
Has to flash to avoid the tornado knockup.
Yeah, and Yasuo is, I mean, he's basically full build already. He gets those attack speed boots. That's a full item for him. Yeah. You can't really do a whole lot about that. That's a scary 1v1 to take.
And Wombat Baby is not afraid of walking up to Lydia here, already taking them down to half HP. Yasuo just dashing around those minion waves. The Gecko is lurking in the area, trying to make something happen. This dragon is up and available for Ball State to take, but there's just not a lot EMU can do at the moment.
And I like to point out, Wukong, I think, just full bought his first item.
Oh, yeah.
So he just went from no item to a complete item. He is going to start hurting.
As if he wasn't hurting enough. That is some big damage there on the Kwaka. What's crazy, too, is that Trinity Force is an expensive item, and Kwaka got that in a duo lane.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. They very clearly have a massive lead. You can already tell the gold lead right now is, gosh, 8,000 right now?
Roughly, yeah. That's big for Ball State. Certainly, and they are looking to tower dive Astro Smash. Astro Smash is super low HP. The engage coming in here from the Gecko, however, but Quaka is not scared of a lowly Viego, and neither is Yoon, as the Gecko will go down. The Wukong ultimate is going to be committed, but he is going to be hooked down by that Thresh. That is a very, very low Olaf. Quaka will take down Astro Smash. The damage being output by this Senna is absolutely insane. You can see her raining down attacks from the back. The double kill for Quaka as he will secure those two, and Yoon picks up another kill as well. And this top lane will be shoved in, and another tower plate, and even more gold from Ball State being taken. Meanwhile, Boatlick is going to be engaging in the bot lane, and Levadia is just going to stand there and get absolutely deleted by this Yone. Ball State looking to take over and end this game quite quickly as well.
Ball State just has too much damage for anyone on EMU to respond to. Viego can't walk up to anybody. He's never going to get in range to hit you because everyone on Ball State can kill him in 1 second. There's just too much of a gap here. I do not know, even worse than last game, I don't know what route they possibly have to come back from this.
Yeah, Ball State draft, oh wow, and we're going to be seeing the beauty of this aggressive comp as Boatlick is just going to be walking up, taking a few hits onto the Gecko, but is looking to reset to get that item and get back onto the map as quickly as possible. Rift Herald is up and available here for Ball State, but I honestly don't think they need it. They're too busy farming the enemy jungle and just shoving in these lanes, getting these towers. EMU has yet to take a single tower.
And I'm not sure they ever will. Normally you, oh my gosh. Normally you only have to be afraid of 4 members of a team, and then their support's just there to kind of buff up the people. This Wukong is the support, and he can probably take on 3 people by himself right now.
Yeah, he has 4 kills and 0 deaths, has a Trinity Force at well before 14 minutes. He's had that item for a while now. And it looks like Ball State off screen is going to be starting that Rift Herald objective. In the meantime, Boatlick might just run down Levadia here.
Disrespect with the emotes right
Oh,
there.
wow. And yep, that is the Rift Herald being taken by Ball State, going to deny that too. Oh, wow, Boatlick, I don't know, what must have taken a lot of tower shots. Might actually be in a bit of trouble here. This might be the Gecko's ticket to get back in the game, or is it the knock-up lands and the rotate is here? It is the Wind Brothers, everybody, and the Wombat Baby will be picking up his 2nd kill of the game.
If you can't take him down when he is at less than a quarter health and you're at full, I don't know what to say. The game is just kind of over at this point.
That is rough. And the fun might not be done, although Quaka is going to disengage. It looks like they don't quite want to dive EMU at this tower, not without the minion wave pushing into it. But EMU does have some pretty solid wave clear in the form of that Varus and Thresh, so they might just be taking a fight in EMU's jungle here. You can see Ball State rotating.
And I think Ball State is looking to close out this game. They did just get the Herald, so once they see a chance to drop it, expect the game to end pretty soon after that.
Wombat Baby, was looking for the cheeky tornado over the wall.
Just misses his tornado. But here they have a big wave coming in. Is EMU going to be able to clear it?
Off screen, I just saw Boatlick at the very bottom there try and engage onto the Viego. Meanwhile, Angry Duck on a rampage in that top lane. This mid tower is getting mighty low. The turret will be destroyed. Ball State, they have not dropped the Rift Herald yet, but like you said, the opportunity is presenting itself. In the meantime, Quaka is going to be engaged on, except that is the clone. Quaka juked them so hard it fooled even me.
No, he actually did do a fake clone there for a second. He was just standing still for a few seconds doing nothing, and no one attacked him because they all thought he was the clone.
Quaka, calm down. Oh, Quaka will not calm down. Quaka is unstoppable, actually, using the clone to dash over the wall. I mean, he's just going to engage! The Flash, the engage, and the Wukong ultimate are going to result in a double kill with the follow-up from the Senna ultimate as the rest of EMU is just trying to get out, but they are just being massacred. The shutdown finally comes onto the Wukong. Wombat Baby is taking the 1v2 in EMU's own face. The Rift Herald is being charged in as Angry Duck runs in with the Rift Herald, lands the Gragas ultimate. Unstoppable! Wombat Baby is finally taken down by the Viego, but the kill by Yoon will trade it back immediately as the tower will go down, the inhibitor will go down, and Ball State wins another skirmish once again.
I am struggling not to just destroy everyone's ears with laughter over here. That Herald drifting into that fight was so funny.
You know, Angry Duck's got a bit of a flair for the dramatic, I think, as Ball State can retain this bot tower and the bot side inhibitor. I think they can easily end the game here. They're just looking for some kind of opening. The TP is coming in from Wombat Baby. Ball State looking to end it right here. The hook is hit onto the Wukong clone. It's not really going to land on anything else as we get this nice God's Eye view. Ball State looking to end the game. The poke damage from the Senna is absolutely insane. The engage coming out from Botlick. Botlick snaps back, is trying to get out, is forced to flash away lest he die. And Ball State, they just don't have the health to survive these towers raining death upon them. They need to wait for the minion wave, but at the same time, there is simply nothing EMU can do. EMU just trying to keep this game afloat as best as they can, but the pressure from Ball State just existing is immense. The Gragas ultimate goes into the Yasuo that goes in as well. The ultimates are being popped, and the kills are flying through. Double kill for Wombat Baby. Ball State is looking to end the game right now, and end it they will.
Wow, a little longer than last game. Last game was 17 minutes. We're going into 1930 about right here.
Oh my goodness.
You know, sometimes I don't particularly enjoy stopping every game. It's not super fun to cast, but seeing a team comp like that play the game, that's one of the most fun games I've seen in a while.
I got so excited seeing Yasuo and Yone locked onto the same team. You have no idea. Wow.
So one reason that's like crazy is Yasuo and Yone, first of all, in the story of the game, they're brothers, but you always see them against each other in League. They're one team picks one, the other team picks the other. You never see them on the same team in the same game. And that was fun. We got to see them on the same.
The Wynn brothers have been united on Summoner's Rift, and it was a joy to watch. There were so many good things from Ball State to talk about there. That Quokka on the Wukong was absolutely insane. Remy, also known as Angry Duck. I'm still used to calling him Remy. It's gonna give me a couple weeks to get used to the name change. But Angry Duck on that Gragas. Gragas is a very good pick for him as well. He did really well with it in the ESC. And I mean, that Gragas was putting in the work.
Oh, he was putting in all the work he possibly could have for that game. He was hitting so many knockups that Yasuo was able to ult off of. He just had full control of both jungles, full control of every objective. But then everyone was kind of putting in the work that game, though. Oh, like, that was... I kind of want to go play some Wukong support now.
You'll need a Senna to make that work, I think. But very well played from Ball State. GG's to EMU as well. EMU, they put up a solid performance, but at points I feel like just the draft was not there.
I don't know where their draft could have been, though. Like, we said it's the way they need to play is pick some weird picks to counter Ball State's like traditional, just they pick a regular comp and win. Ball State's pulling out the weird picks now. How are you supposed to counter that? You don't know they're going to play anything like that. Ball State's just a little too good. We might need to put on our third or fourth string subs. I don't know.
Yeah, that was... It was incredible to watch. Ball State had 3 winning lanes in both games, and I mean, you have 3 winning lanes. You push those advantages, you win. Yep. Closing out games. Both those games were under 20 minutes, which is ridiculously fast for competitive League of Legends. Ball State is doing so much in the ESC already, and I mean, they're looking like last season's ESC team in all the right ways.
Yeah, I hope that this continues, and you know, I think we might be looking at the champions for the league. It's a little early to call, but they're putting on a performance. Let's just say that.
Man, Yasuo Yone on the same team. I believe we might have a player interview coming up at some point. Hey, there we go. Do we have the RF? We got the RF mic over there. All right. Are we switching it on? Yeah, here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Congratulations. That was so. My first and immediate question is, I loved. We were geeking out about the draft up here in the second game. What was was it just for fun? Was it to kind of test something? Both, maybe.
Half of fun, half of test. Like our top and mid want to play Yasuo and Yun, so our JG played Gragas to match with Yasuo ulti, and then I thought maybe Senna can be help them to make them strong. So that's why we picked the Senna and Wukong, and probably. Yeah, the result is good, so I like it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys performed very well.
Yeah, do you think there's any chance that we'll see a Wukong support again?
Maybe one time, like when Brett can, like Brett is our ADC, so he can play Senna very well. Then I can pick the Wukong sub again. Yeah, just I hope Brett can be good at Senna.
All right, the gauntlet's been thrown for that. So Ball State has been doing super well in the ESC so far.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys think you make it to the championship this season?
Like last season, we are a very strong team too, but this season we changed some member of the like ADC or some of the jungle, but it doesn't matter. We always strong and we always powerful. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we can be a champion.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was still the whole game I was geeking out about those Wukong fakes. You were just standing there, and they fell for it every time. Is that something you play a lot? Have you put a lot of time into Wukong, or?
Honestly, I like playing like not major support, like not all some thrash or blitz. So my solo rank I play like I wanna play like to take damage with enemy's champion. So I'm already I always play Camille like or Wukong or some damage support. So that's why I think I'm good at like to punish them. So
Yeah, that was very evident, especially in game 2.
Yeah, you guys were just taking control of lane within 30 seconds of the laning phase starting. Like,
thank you.
Well, yeah,
That's all from me.
that's all for me too. Thank you for sitting down talking with us. Good game,
Thank you.
All right, yeah, we can take that for you. Thank you so much.
and have a good day.
All right, and that was BSU Kwaka, who also seems very confident about the chances of Ball State making it to the top in the ESC. I mean, and I think a huge lesson to take away from this, as Ball State especially, is that it really feels like, at least for now, they can play anything and win. Kwaka was talking about Camille's support, Wukong support, not something you usually see, and we saw the Wukong support and highlighted the game easily.
You know, normally you can see like one hole in a team, like their top laner isn't very good at this champion, or their mid laner isn't quite good at taking control. They don't have any of those holes as of now.
No.
They know how to play all their champions. It seems like their pools are limitless. They can pick any champion, and they all win lane. Like, I can't really point to an MVP of the game because they all won lane.
Exactly. We're talking, when we say the highlight moment, we mean that this person on Ball State, which is already performing so well, is just performing to an absurdly high degree in the ESC. I'm having so much fun. You said it's not always fun watching stomps, and I agree, but Ball State is making these stomps so unique to look at, and I think that really speaks to their flexibility as a team and just their overall strength and power, and I can't wait to see more of it in the ESC.
Oh yeah, I am looking forward to it. And speaking of waiting, I guess our next game will be Saturday, right?
Yeah, this Saturday. I'm not sure who it's against yet, but I'm confident based on the performances that we've seen.
Very confident.
So yeah, GG's once again to EMU. Congratulations, Ball State. Ball State currently remains undefeated in the ESC, and every member we've talked to seems to think that they can make it all the way to the championship and win it this season. I see no reason to doubt them. But that's all from me. I've been Rory, aka Artam.
I'm gonna cut you. Sorry.
Oh.
I do want to add one thing. We are, for the first time, going to start showcasing some of our other teams. And
Oh my goodness! Oh,
Yeah.
you know what? Faux pas on my part. Take it away.
so tomorrow, join us, I believe at the same time, for a Valorant, I think it's our Valorant Black roster game. So if you want to see some Valorant, you've been missing it because we're not streaming Valorant this semester, come watch our Valorant Black roster play. We haven't casted any of their games before. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it'll be a new roster, new faces for those of you who are used to the Ball State's Valorant Red roster, which was there last season. And yeah, we are looking to expand more into maybe showing some of the other facets of Ball State Esports. I've talked to some people on the Valorant Black roster. Pretty chill people.
Yeah.
Very good at the game, certainly. So absolutely do tune in for that and for future, maybe not quite as mainstream broadcasts.
And one correction, the game is at 9, not at 8 like it was tonight.
All
so
right.
1 hour later than it was.
9 p.m. tomorrow. Y'all be there.
And that's all for me.
All right. So once again, I've been Rory, also known as Artom,
And I've been Aiden, also known as Mnemonic.
and you all have a good night.
Good night.